Hey, what's up? My name is PJ, and in this video we're doing the results of Raw Edit Challenge number 11. Hope you enjoy. Okay, we got heaps of entries, which is cool. Thank you so much, guys. I think we got over 30. I just picked a bunch of the best ones that I liked. I went way over 10. I think I have 16 in total. 16 plus the Raw plus mine. I probably won't even show mine because I think there's so many better ones. No, I will show mine, but I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as possible so it's not a 40-minute video. So let's go. Okay, let's not forget, this is where the photo came from. This is a JPEG, but it's a JPEG of the unedited RAW file. So this is where you guys started, and let's get through this quick as we can. First one was ALBERTI, who is from, I believe, Brighton in the UK. I forgot to write these down, but I remember seeing it on the email. Ellen, this is honestly one of my favorites and such a good one to kick it off with. I like it how you've added this sort of blue, I don't know if it's like a graduated filter or whatever you've done. You've added this sort of seemingly extra light into the image, which is really cool. The existing photo had yellow and red, and you've made this beautiful gradient from red to yellow to sort of purple to blue. I think you absolutely nailed this edit. Nice and sharp, skin looks smooth. I really love that one. Next one is Henry from Atlanta. Henry, thank you for the submission. I don't think I've seen one of yours before, but I appreciate it nonetheless. You've gone for a pretty gritty, very sharp, very nice edit. Thank you for that, man. Yeah, totally suits the vibe, totally suits the badass leather jacket, tattoo sort of deal. It's a little bit noisier than some of the other ones, but then again, it was shot at, I don't know, probably ISO 4000 or something, so there's always going to be a little bit of noise. But regardless, I thought you did a pretty stand-up job. Everything that needs to be sharp, you've made very nice and sharp. Nice detail in the eyes, a little bit desaturated, but still some color. Thought that was a really good job, man. This one was by the great fella from Belize in Central America. I'm not sure your name, but I had to include this one because it said the great fella, and I thought it was really funny. You've gone for a very warm look. I actually quite like the skin tones, despite the fade, which kind of loses a little bit of the black. This is really cool. This is definitely the fade plus the neon thing is a very big look on Instagram at the moment. And I think you did a good job. Everything's nice and sharp and clean, and your colors are really nice. You've kept the skin tones pretty neutral, but still left the neon vibe. So great job, great fella. Justin Conant, JC Pics from Los Angeles. Justin, thank you for the submission, man. I don't know if I've done one of yours either, but love to have you involved. Love to see your name pop up in my inbox. Very cool. You've changed the color scheme completely, which I like. I know you mentioned to me that you edited this in Photoshop, not Lightroom, which is very cool because I think Photoshop is a little bit underutilized these days. Interesting, very interesting. It's sharper it needs to be. You've kind of blown out these lights completely, which is interesting. It's a very, I don't even know what you'd call it. It's a very sort of stylized. It just reminds me, it reeks of the 80s. It just reminds me so much of the 80s with the colors and the general feel. It's kind of like that Stranger Things kind of chic. Yeah, cool. Good job, man. Thank you. Next one is Sam PEINA from Brisbane. Brisbane. Why do I add a D on the end of Brisbane? Sam, thank you for the edit, man. You've gone for the film sort of look with the green tones of the blacks and like the dust overlays and the scratches and stuff. Very cool. It looks like it was shot on a cheap print film, and yeah, cool vibe. It looks like it might have been taken outside a dirty hotel or something. Lost a little bit of the black like I was mentioning in one of the other pictures, but that's okay. That's totally part of the vibe. When you underexpose black, you get green in some of those films, so I totally get where you're going with that. I love that you've still kept all the color. Thought you did a really good job. Thank you, Sam. Gabrielle from Italy. Gabrielle, you've also changed the colors a lot, which I really like, and you've got a nice dark black point. You've got the eyes there looking nice and sharp, the hair's nice and sharp. I love the pink tones. Pink and blue go really well together. This has turned to almost like a green now, and I believe that was yellow before. That's a really cool job, man. Again, reeks of the 80s, but in a really good way. I love it. We got Dave Walker from Pittsburgh. Dave, thank you so much for the submission, my man. Again, this is like a super sharp, super gritty image. This sort of thing tends to fall apart in the dark areas because the camera, we're at 2000 ISO, because the camera was pushing it a little bit. When you bring up the shadows, you do lose a little bit of the clarity. You get that sort of digital noise, which is not always a good thing. But you can see where there's a good exposure. It's still very clean and very usable. I would just watch those bits a little bit, maybe. Not that you asked for my opinion, but just if it was me, I would possibly mask them or blur them or something just to keep that a little bit clean, because my eye keeps going over to this side. But I love the colors you used, a little bit desaturated, still very sharp. I think you did a really good job, Dave. Thank you so much for that. Bradley Smith from Sydney. Brad, I honestly didn't know that you were getting this hard into photography. I think you have some design or Photoshop background. This is a really, really cool edit. From a photographer's perspective, I would really like to see some more blacks. So maybe let me just push the blacks in a little bit more. This is probably my favorite edit though, to be honest. And you'll see the difference on that. Yeah, I like it with a bit more black. It makes the color richer as well. And you've added this sort of like bokeh, like blurred effect in, which is really cool. Blue, green, pink, really cool color scheme. Still nice and sharp, and the skin tones aren't too affected by the color lights, which I really, really like. This is probably my favorite edit. I really like this one. Thanks, Brad. Ben Sandness from Iowa. Ben, so lovely to see your name pop up in my inbox once again. Thank you for contributing. You always do a good job. Very, very gritty, sharp, but also clean. You've done a nice job of balancing that, and very, very punchy tones, bright colors, and I can't fault that. That's a really good job, Ben. Thank you for the edit. Ace Bryan from the Philippines. If that is your real name, Ace, then you win the best name award for Raw to Challenge 11, because I wish my name was Ace Bryan. That's a superhero name right there. Cool colors, similar to the other pinky ones. It gives me that 80s vibe that I mentioned, but I think in this one you've kind of lost the skin tones a little bit. It looks a little bit unnatural. I get that that's probably the vibe, but sometimes you just have to be careful, sort of like around the eyes. It looks a little bit funny. You've sharpened them up nicely though. There's just these beautiful catch lights from the reflection here. Otherwise, very, very clean edit. I do really like the pink vibes, pink and blue or purple, whatever this color is. They just go so well together. And I wish I'd thought to do this in my edit, because I didn't even think to take it to this place. So it's kind of cool to see all you guys do all these things that can actually give me inspiration to go back and do my own edits. Thank you, man. I really enjoyed this edit. Jurian Kuipers from Belgium. Jurian, again, one of my OGs, one of my favorite subscribers. Always love having you involved, and nice to see your name pop up once again. Really good job, man. This is not too dissimilar to my edits, to be honest. There's a little bit more blue involved, and you've crunched the blacks a little bit more. Totally suits the vibe. That faded look, like I mentioned earlier, very big on Instagram. Nice, clean edit. I think you've even taken some of the noise out, which is very kind of you. Really good job. Can't fault that at all. ADOM OBED from Mexico. ADOM, very cool job, man. Very cool. Quite literally, that pun was not intended, but you've cooled down the skin tones. There's a little bit, you've lost a little bit of something in the eyes there. I'm not sure why, but we've lost a little bit of the detail in the eyes. but you've totally changed the feel of the image, which I really like. You've made it into this cool vibe instead of this like warm orangey ready glow. Really good job, man. Interesting and unique to all the other edits that I received, so thank you so much for that. Zach Forbes. Zach, he's from Canada. I included this one because it was really different to the others. You've added sort of this like a, I don't know what you call it, like a flare almost to the right side here. And it's a really nice contrast. It's a really nice gradient between the light and the shade in this image. And I quite like the orange tones. You've just done something a little bit different. It's, yeah, I guess you call it the orange and teal thing, but it's done in a way that none of the other photos did. So I really wanted to include this one because I thought it was really interesting. And yeah, thank you for the submission, Zach. Appreciate you. Natalie Renaud from Egypt. Natalie, I had to include yours because I thought it was so cool that I have subscribers in Egypt. Really gritty, getting a little bit of Tarantino, like noir vibes. I feel like this would also work really good in a black and white. Yeah, I think this totally suits Mitch's vibe with the leather jacket and the razor blade and the tattoos. And yeah, desaturated, gritty, sharp, nice. Really good job, Natalie. Thank you for the edit. Okay, my camera died, but we are back. I'll make it quick, only a couple to go. Next one is Camille from Lodz in Poland. I'm pretty sure Lodz is the location. I'm sorry if it's your name, but thank you for the edit, Camille. A lot brighter than the others. You've crunched those blacks, brought them out a little bit, which I quite like. You've kept the skin tones very neutral, very nice, clean edit, desaturated the colors a little bit. This is a good one. This is a really good one. Different to the others. And yeah, totally different feel when it's this bright. It changes the mood of the image, which I really like. That's why I included it. Last one is Maya Tolliver from Noblesville, Indiana. Maya, thank you for the edit. It's nice to see your name pop up again. I'm sure I've looked over some of your pictures before, and I appreciate you submitting this. This one I thought was interesting. The idea was fantastic. The execution was maybe not super polished because I can kind of see, you know, the blur and the clone marks, but I love where you were going with this. You were adding the bokeh dots. What do you call those? The flares or whatnot. Very, very cool idea. I wish I'd thought to do this myself. Yeah, a little bit. I think the execution could be a little bit cleaner in the left side of the image here. We're kind of losing his arm, and yeah, there's a few spots here and there, but it was a really cool idea, and I totally give you points for originality, which is why I included it. And now we're at the end of the video. This last one is mine, and I thought, why not put it in? I actually did it way before any of you guys did, but I think I'm going to have to go back and do it again now because I think a lot of the edits are even better than mine. I'm definitely going to try my own version of the pink and blue thing. The other thing that I did was moved a few bits from the image here. There's this sort of graffiti there that was coming out of his head that was a bit annoying to me. And the other thing, there's a weird shadow on Mitch's face. You might be able to see it there. I think it's just from... I don't know what the shadow's from actually. It might be from the top of his head on those lights, or it might be from his hand, something back here. There's a weird shadow on Mitch's face there, so I smoothed that out and contoured him a little bit, and that's pretty much it. I also added a little bit of blue to this vibe, to this side, but not as much as the others. Tried to keep it very warm because I generally like the warmth in my photos. And there you go. That's Raw Edit Challenge number 11. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you got all the way through to the end, I very much appreciate you. If you have an idea for a photo you would like to see for the Raw Edit Challenge next week, please don't hesitate to drop it in the comments below. If you submitted an edit, thank you so much. We had a really good, diverse group to choose from today, which is why I had so many in the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.